Hi, I'm Joel Schrank, voiceover talent and entrepreneur. Change is a part of life. And for many people, myself included, it's one of the most difficult parts of life. I have trouble adjusting to change. I have trouble dealing with change, and mostly I have trouble enacting change. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm outside of my sound booth here in my control room. I'm in my comfy chair. I got myself a cup of coffee, and I hope you'll join me as we speak easy about change. Simplifying concepts that really help you in life, relationships, and business. This is the Speaking Easy Podcast. So I've heard it said that truly successful businesses, truly successful organizations, truly successful people are okay with change. Not only okay with it, but embrace it on a daily basis. But it can be so difficult to do because I think as people, we generally like the status quo. We like things to just be normal. We like things to be predictable. I could be wrong. I think it's somewhat of a masculine trait too.
Wow.
I know a lot of men, myself certainly included, who really like to have sort of a predictability of our day. We like to have our schedules. We like to know what's going on, and we don't really like it when that is all upset.
The list goes on and on.
I think that it's also necessary to upset your schedule, to change things around, to start doing different things, especially when you start seeing that some of those old things that you're doing aren't working, or maybe they're not providing the results that you want, and so you need to adjust, or maybe just the world around you has changed, and so you need to change along with it. So how do we do that? Well, let's break it down. Number one, identify the problem. What's the reason that you want to make this change? If it doesn't have a reason, then maybe you need to reinvestigate as to whether or not the change really needs to be made. But I found that a lot of times, identifying the problem can sometimes help uncover a goal, and that goal can help motivate you.
Go, 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 go.
You can do it, Eddie.
Dig. Ah, yes.
For me, a change that I had in my life was exercising more. It was a problem I was having. I wasn't really doing very much. I sit at a desk a lot of the days if I'm not in my sound booth, which I'm also just sitting at. And besides chasing around my kids, I don't really get a lot of actual exercise. And so I wanted to do it more. This was a few years ago. But I had trouble just getting myself into it. It really wasn't something that I found easy to do. It wasn't a lifestyle change that really came naturally for me. And so I identified a goal that I had for myself that really helped motivate me to make that change. And that goal was competing in triathlons. I'd always had an interest in competing in triathlons. And so not only did I set a goal for myself to actually do it, but I signed up for one. That kind of forced me to get up off my butt and get outside and start exercising. I needed to train, otherwise I wasn't going to be able to finish the triathlon that I'd just signed up for. Number two, identify what you're already doing well and build on that. If you take a real look at what you're doing, you might find some bright spots, some areas where you're already kind of sort of doing the change that you want to see in your life.
We like to think of Doug as a bright spot.
Now, sometimes you really have to look a little bit harder. For my triathlon story, I wasn't really doing a lot of exercising at all, but the one thing I was doing well was scheduling. I was scheduling my day pretty well, and so what I started doing was adding a little run in there into my schedule, adding a little bike ride, maybe going for a swim. And when I started to incorporate that into my schedule, it actually kind of forced me to get out and do it.
My calendar's up to date. Did you check?
Yeah, I checked, but every hour is blocked off as Dame time, so I wasn't sure.
It's always Dame time.
Because for me, when I throw something in my schedule, I have a tendency to actually do it. And while it was still something that was difficult for me to get really into, and I'll talk about motivation a little bit later, it really did help me because it was incorporating it into something that I was already doing. But when you look for those bright spots, those things that you're already doing well, that can help you identify where you can grow, where you can start to incorporate this change a little bit more easily. Like, think of a company or a business that might want to become more personal in their email correspondence or in their phone conversations with their customers. Where's an area that maybe they're already doing that well? Maybe they're really good at making very personable social media posts. And so you can talk to your social media team and get them to help out the folks that are writing emails or making phone calls and help them to become more personable in what it is that they're doing.
Please change your behavior.
Find the areas where you're already doing good things and grow on those. And that will help make the change a little bit more palatable, a little bit easier to incorporate, because you'll feel like you're already kind of doing some of the things that you want to do. Number 3, find someone who can help you. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Work with a partner. Work with a partner. Having a partner helps you to make change in your life. It helps you to make change in your business. When you find people who can actually help you, who can keep you accountable to the change that you're trying to make. For my triathlon, I actually had somebody who was doing it with me. That was actually a large reason as to why I signed up for the triathlon. He and I had talked about doing a triathlon, and I thought, okay, yeah, maybe we'll do it, maybe we won't. We'll probably just forget about it, and that'll be fine. Then I got a text message from him one day saying, hey, I signed up for the triathlon. Hope you're going to join me. And I thought, oh, shoot. Well, now I guess I have to do it too. And so I signed up for it. But if I hadn't had him keeping me accountable for doing the thing that we said we were going to do, I might not have done it. So find someone who can help keep you accountable and find someone who can just help you along the way. Maybe find a mentor, someone who's done what you're trying to do, or just someone who can help encourage you along the way. But when you try and do things with other people, I guarantee you're going to find far more success than if you just try and do it by yourself. Number 4, get motivated. We already talked a little bit about motivation when we talked about the bright spots, the things that you're already kind of doing well, things that you can grow into the change that you want to see. And seeing those sort of successes can really help motivate you. But what are some other things that you might have? Maybe you don't have quite as many bright spots as you hoped you might.
0? Not one person?
Well, part of what you can do to help motivate yourself is change your identity. Now, that sounds like a big thing, but it might be easier than you may think, especially if you're making a change that really makes sense for your life. Again, going back to my triathlon story, wanting to exercise more, yes, I wanted to exercise more, but never really saw myself as someone who exercises. I mean, kind of back when I was a kid in my high school, I did a lot of exercising. I did gymnastics. But really, honestly, ever since then, I really wasn't a guy that went to the gym a lot. I didn't go for runs. That just wasn't really my persona. It wasn't somebody that I was. But I still had this interest of wanting to do triathlons. That was just something I was interested in. And so adopting the identity of a triathlete, well, that was really easy for me to do. That was something I actually was interested in. I wanted to do it. Adopting the identity of somebody who goes out for runs, adopting the identity of some cyclist or some swimmer, that wasn't really something I was into, but man, throw those 3 things together and all of a sudden, that's what I wanted to do. It doesn't really seem to make sense as I talk it out, to be honest, but in my mind, wanting to be a triathlete, adopting the identity of a triathlete, well, that really made it easier for me to want to go out and go for those runs, go for those bike rides, go for those swims, because I wanted to do the triathlon. I wanted to be a triathlete. And so adopting that identity upon myself really helped me to actually go out and do the things I needed to do.
Do what you have to do.
So think about what identity shifts can you make in yourself that can help you adopt the change that you want to make. Maybe you want to start a business and you need to adopt the identity of an entrepreneur. Maybe you want to grow your business, so you need to adopt the identity of a better marketer. All sorts of different things that just changing your mindset on can really help in motivating you to become the person that you want to be, and thus create your organization that you want to create. Number 5, build habits. This may be the most valuable piece of information that I've got with regard to change. Building habits and incorporating something into your daily life is what is going to create the change. If you can't build a habit to create the change, it's not going to happen. For me, when I was trying to do the triathlons and exercising more, I incorporated it into my schedule, and as I did that, it did become a habit. It got to the point where if I had a day where I didn't go out for a run or a ride or go for a swim, I felt like my day was incomplete. I felt like I hadn't done everything I needed to do that day. It had become so habitual for me to do it. So build those habits into your life. Make it easy for you to incorporate things into your life. Set up your environment so that those habits come naturally. Say that you want to start building a business, and so you've adopted the identity of an entrepreneur and a marketer, hopefully things that are easy for you to take on if you really want to grow a business. But you find that you aren't making as many cold calls as you need to make. You're not making as many customer connections as you really need to. And so in order to make that into a daily habit, maybe put it into your schedule, but also tweak your environment so that the habit building is easy. Have your phone right there and ready to make cold calls. Have your spreadsheet or whatever it is that you're using to reference for making cold calls open when you sit down at your desk. Do whatever you can to make it so that making those cold calls is as easy as possible. Now, it's never going to be easy to do something like that. It's never easy to make any sort of change. But that's the whole idea, is make it as easy as you can for yourself. Tweak your environment to make building those habits as easy as possible. Get motivated by finding those bright spots, the things that you're already doing well, and by finding people to work with you. And make sure that the problem that you're addressing is actually one that needs to be addressed. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people go down roads that they really don't need to go down because they're trying to fix a problem that doesn't really exist. I hope that this has been helpful to you. If you did like this, I hope that you'll like, subscribe, comment in the comment section below, and we'll talk to you again next time.